It is a mighty good day. It's about that time. We're going to get into our man time moments with Elder Reggie Holder. And he joins me every Tuesday. Good morning, Elder Reggie.
Good morning, Lady Shantae. Good morning. Good morning, Nashville, WENO family. Good morning.
You got your sweater and your hat. It must be a little chilly out there.
It is chilly in Clarksville and Nashville. But I like it. I like it. I like it a little bit, but not much past this.
That's right. Let's stay right here. Let's stay right here. All right. Well, thank you for being with us every single week. I like for you to share why we do this segment.
We do this segment to empower men to, in some ways, wake men up to their proper place. In ways to help men to stand in that place and to stand in that place with confidence and know that God is with them, to know that their ladies are with them, to know that their children are with them, and that all of us just simply want men to be men. And we also do this to empower marriages to be stronger, empower marriages to stand in the place that God ordained them to be.
Amen, amen, amen. All right, well, hey, let's jump into our topic today.
Well, the topic today is forgiveness. Forgiveness. And it's a tough topic, and I brought this up. This really struck me with all of the fallout from the Botham Jean case. For those of you who've been under a rock somewhere, this is the case of the young man. Botham Jean was a young man who was in his own apartment, and the police officer, white female police officer, got off on the wrong floor, went to the wrong apartment, went to his apartment, said that he was a perpetrator in her apartment and shot him and killed him. We know the circumstances that are a lot where she didn't call for backup, didn't identify herself as a police officer. Just so much went on that was so ridiculous for a person who's been trained as a police officer, for this young man to have lost his life in his own apartment. But since then, of course, she was found guilty in the case, but her sentence was that of only 10 years, with possible parole in 4 to 5 years. And that's where the fallout and the uproar for so many of us, including myself, has hit. But then during the sentencing, or after the sentencing, Botham's brother, 18-year-old young man, who's obviously hurting in the loss of his brother, said to the young lady from the stand that he forgives her. He wished she didn't have to go to jail. And could he get a hug? Could he hug her? And the judge allowed it, and he came down and gave her a hug. The judge also followed and hugged her, and that's another case, another story, because the judge sits in a different position from coming off the bench to hug a defendant. That's very, very odd. But for the young man, there's been so much uproar. There's things I've heard all week long from so many different political pundits and social media correspondents. And social media is wearing this young man out. They are wearing the young man out. He's been said that he's been a political pawn, that again, the white man is using us, the system is using us, the system does us wrong, then it uses us, sending a message that anything can be done to black people and it doesn't matter. And I feel that message also. My question, though, is what makes the young man wrong for extending forgiveness? I'm not talking about the hug, not talking about his wish that she doesn't spend any time in jail, just simply forgiveness. And I bring that up because, again, this is an 18-year-old young man. In my following of the case, and Lady Shantae, you may be able to help me. In my following of the case, I didn't see much about their father. But was their father there? Was the father involved in the family, or do you know?
I did not see the father.
Okay, but not on their case, but don't know about them. But in dealing with young men out here, and I deal with young men from pretty much from 12 to on up, and so many of these young men carry an anger, and they're angry at someone they never met. So often they carry an anger at a father who never showed up, a father who they don't even know his name, a father who has disappointed that when he did show up, he was high or he was drunk or he showed up trying to get back with mom and cared nothing about the child. Just so many areas to where some man in their life failed them. And it's not just the young men, the young ladies also, but I'm in men's ministry, so ladies, forgive me, I deal mostly with men. But that anger, so then where do they put that anger? Where does that anger go? That anger then plays out on society. It plays out on all of us. It plays out in the school. It plays out in fights. It plays out in bad grades. It plays out just in telling you you're going to respect me. I mean, the first time I walked in a school, and this was a few years back, but a 14-year-old said to me, "Dude, you're going to respect me."
No.
I was shocked. And I just looked at him and said, "Young man, what's your name?" Because, old school, what I wanted to say and wanted to do, but I knew that doesn't work today. And so I didn't know his story and what was going on. With that young man, found out there was a list of men who had disappointed him and lied to him and left him wanting. There's a movie out that's been out a few years, I think a couple years. David Banner put the movie out. It's called Never Heard. And one line in the movie, the young man says, "I never even heard my father call my name."
Wow. So deep.
So deep. So deep. And the hurt that he carries. And the only person that can forgive that hurt or fix that hurt is Jesus Christ. That's the only way it can be fixed. But also with that, so I go back to Botham's brother, and I say, but at 18 years old, why do we want him to carry unforgiveness and to carry hatred for the rest of his life toward a person who obviously wronged the family, obviously did the unthinkable? You come in my house and shoot or and kill me, and I'm in my own space, minding my own business, and you basically receive a slap on the wrist. But so society has failed me, the justice system has failed me, but God still hasn't failed me. But if I carry that unforgiveness, if this young man carries unforgiveness, then he's hurting himself.
Sure.
She's going to be off serving her time. So her knowing that he hates her still does what to her? So he has to be at a place where he can be a productive young man as his life goes on. If he decides to go to college, he may even, because of this, decide to become a law enforcement officer. Who knows what the future holds for him? He's an 18-year-old young man. So my thing is to jump down this young man's throat, to jump on his back, to blast him, as so many have. That so many have even blasted whoever advised him. My question is, who's to say anybody advised him?
Yeah, I don't think.
This may just come from the heart once he got on the stand. So those things we don't know. So without any speculation, what I do know is that he reached out with forgiveness. Yeah. I'm in that light. I walk in that arena with him, except there is that but. The but is, you broke the law, go serve your time. Right. And why did she get more time? Right. But that doesn't mean I'm holding anything. I don't have to hold anything against any person for them to still be able to suffer the consequences of their actions, because the actions was there. The same as fathers. You've hurt these young men. So now, yes, I've said before on this program, get back into their lives. Fight your way back into their lives. But it's a fight. It's going to be a fight, not just with baby mama. That's what you're looking at. But it's going to be a fight for that young man and that young woman. Because where have you been? What did I do wrong? Those are the questions you're going to receive. Why don't you love me? Why did you like that family? Because you had other children. So why did you like him better than you liked me? All those things are going to come to you, and you got to take it. You got to take it. You got to be honest, not lie, but be there to go through and let this young man know that I love you. That young lady know that, yeah, I messed up. I messed up with you. I messed myself up, but let's build this thing. It's going to take some time, so let's build this thing. But you will win them. You will win them by consistency. You will win them by honesty. You will win them, as they say, by being real, by just putting it out there. You'll win them by then showing them love. You'll win them by having a laugh or two. You'll win them by sacrificing when they know there was something else you were going to do, but you showed up for them. Those ways, those are the ways you will win and get back into the hearts of these young men, these young ladies that we've left out there. You know, we talk about the millennials so much, and there's programs about winning the millennials now. Today, well, speaking to millennials, for those who are out there, you millennials who were fatherless are now have your own fatherless children. You're the guy who's not fathering your son out there. You're the guy who's not fathering your daughter out there. Because you millennials go up to, I believe, to about 38 at this point, 37, 38. So yeah, you've got your seed out there wondering where you are, looking for you. And you're walking around with your hurt from a guy who's telling you his dad wasn't there. So why don't you be the one that says the buck stops here? That's one of those old saying, the buck stops here. But it's saying it stops with me. Yeah. There would no longer be fatherlessness in our family because I'm stopping it right now. I'm going to teach my sons and my daughters differently. Yeah. And I'm going to do that by going after forgiveness for them, but forgiving my father, forgiving my mom, forgiving all of those who have hurt me so that I can walk with a pure heart, and therefore I can show up with a pure heart for my children.
Yeah, I think so many, I would just say people, we're talking about men, underestimate the power of the word, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yes.
Sometimes that's all the child really wants to hear. It just to know that you even think that you did something wrong.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
That you even think you missed the mark can mean so much in the mending of that relationship. But then we also, as Christians, know, you know, being apologetic, repenting is not just words, it's in changed behavior, like you say, being consistent and showing up. You know, and on the flip side of that, for those who may never get that apology.
Right. Yes.
You know,
yes.
One thing that I've learned through my church and ministry is that, you know, sometimes you have to forgive somebody, release them, and tell them, you know, not only do I forgive you, but you don't even owe me anything.
You don't owe me anything.
Because a lot of times, like you say, holding on to things is a form of trying to get you to repay me.
Yes.
And sometimes it never happens.
Sometimes it never happens.
And if you're waiting on that, you might be waiting a very long time. And the last thing I'll say is concerning the Botham Jean case, I agree with you. You know, I'm a Christian. I wholeheartedly believe in forgiveness. I think when it comes to the Black community, though, it gets so cloudy because for us, forgiveness is always in the absence of justice.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's like, man, you know.
But that's why I know, as we said, we were actually saying off air,
right?
Yes. That's why I know that Jesus was and is a man of color. Yeah. Jesus walked this earth as a man of color. I'm not saying he was African or a Negro. I don't know all that. But I know he was definitely a man of color to be able to do the things that he did, because those things have not changed in this country. We see so much injustice when it comes to Black people and the suffering of Black people, and for so many years that we've suffered that. But thank God for Jesus. Thank God that there is salvation. Yeah. Thank God that we recognize that we need a Savior and we can walk in His footsteps, and that this place is not our home. That we're not subject only to America, but there is a glory on the other side. But we're also looking for the glory that we were promised on this side, and that's the part that makes it tough, because there was a glory promised for this side also.
Absolutely, wow, that's good stuff. Well, it's never too late to forgive. You know, it's never too late to let it go, so God can bless you. Thank you so much for that awesome word, Elder Reggie. Any last quick words on this topic, and then where can people reach you?
Just last quick word on this topic is still simply this. There are young men and young ladies out there that are hurting. They may be 30, 40, even 50 years old, but especially those who are kids, who are still teenagers, adolescents, and that sort of thing. And if you are one of those men, especially, who you know you've caused the hurt, you've been absent, those sort of things. Go do it. Go do the work. Go do the tough thing. Man up, and go do the hard work and fix this breach.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, man. So much healing can start right there.
Right there.
All right, and where can people follow you?
Yes, please follow me at ReginaldHolderMinistries.com is the website. Reginald Holder Ministries on Facebook and Instagram and all the social media. And get the book, As One, Like Christ in the Church, on Amazon or on the website. And again, that book would do for your marriage what the prayer Jabez did for prayer.
Man, all right, we'll do it again next week.
Next week.